Hey everyone, it's me, Gretchen Rubin, author of The Happiness Project, Outer Order Intercom, and other books, and I am also co-host of the Happier Podcast with my sister Elizabeth Kraft, who I'm now going to ask to join this, and this is always the trickiest part, which is how do we get her to join. I'm looking for her, and while I'm doing this, please let me know where you're watching from. This is Elizabeth, and I love to know where everybody is, so let me know where you are in the world, and I am looking for Elizabeth. I'm sorry, this is always like a tedious part, but we're working on it. Let's see. Elizabeth, are you there? I don't see her name here. Anyway, but I hope everyone is well and happy as they can be under the circumstances. It's strange and crazy times. And I am not seeing Elizabeth. Huh. Well, I will just keep talking until she appears. They've had a lot of rain in Los Angeles lately, which I think sort of affects their systems because they're not used to having rain. But of course, it's great to have rain. They need the rain, so that is something good. Though I think it's adding to kind of the strangeness of this time for her. Because that's also very unusual. Well, we're waiting for her. Let me ask this question. Do you feel like you're eating pretty much the way you ordinarily eat, or is your eating really, are you eating in a very different way because everything's sort of changed and disrupted? Put a thumbs up in the comments if you are eating pretty much the way you usually do. No judgment. We've all been there. It's a crazy time. And here's Elizabeth. Yay. Oh, you guys saw Elizabeth. Oh, there she is. Okay. Liz is there. Okay. I couldn't see her. Okay. It says waiting for Liz Kraft. So people see her. That's interesting. Well, maybe I'm in a different part of my apartment today. So maybe the signal isn't as strong. Okay. I'm not going to come down here. Tomorrow I'm going to be back up there because it says it's waiting for her. But you guys see her? That is so strange. I don't see her. It just says waiting for Liz Kraft. Oh, but so thumbs up is, yeah, I'm eating pretty much the way I usually eat. Thumbs down is no, things are very, very different. I'm too stressed and bored to eat. Oh, that's interesting. How many people, when they get stressed, eat more, kind of have more of an appetite or like do it to, Elizabeth, you're not on video. You're in comment. It says it's waiting for you. I don't know. Can you no, I already added her. Let me try again. Whoops. Oh, this is so tiresome, everybody. I'm sorry. Okay, when you go live with Liz Kraft, add. It says waiting for Liz Kraft. That is strange. I do not see Liz.
Here I am.
There she is. Yay. Do you think it's my signal? Or like
maybe.
Who knows? We're not the most tech savvy people in the world. But listen, I was just saying to people, I don't know what you could see or hear, but I was saying, like, are people eating more or less the way they usually eat, or are they feeling like, oh my gosh, everything's disrupted and and so it's really upended. And some people don't eat when they're stressed out, and then some people eat more when they're stressed out.
Yeah. Gosh. Okay. Honesty. I am not doing well. I'm eating a lot of carbs, Cheez-Its, crackers, bites of ice cream, some Girl Scout cookies we had left over, pizza. It's not good. I'm trying to do better today. Someone says they can't eat when they're stressed, their stomach's in knots. Other people say eating more. I mean, it's really hard.
Yeah, somebody says eating more and cooking more. Give us a thumbs up if you're cooking more. I think some people are cooking more. In my house, there's a lot more cooking going on, I have to say. Kind of like Eliza and Eleanor made an onion tart, which I was like, I didn't know that existed like outside of a restaurant. It was like, even the house smelled like, I was like, this smells so sophisticated. But But one thing to say is, the disclaimer that we give every day, which is everybody is going through this whole situation at different times, and we're all in different places. We're in the place where like people are cooking more. And we want to acknowledge that in other parts of the world, this is not your concern, that you're ahead of us and are experiencing this in a different way, in a more dire way. This is where we are now. Where we are now in New York City is that Governor Cuomo did announce that we are going to 100% no work except for essential workers, and everybody's supposed to stay put. So New York is right there with California now. We are in, pretty much total lockdown, except for, of course, the people we're all grateful to, the healthcare workers, the delivery workers, the essential services people, public transportation people, utilities people, all those people who are so vital now.
Yes. And thank you to those people for putting themselves at risk every day.
Well, one thing that makes me happy, and I was really happy to see this order go out, is I'm like, those people will feel safer doing their work when we all get out of their way. Because if people are there just about, they're going to feel like, well, how am I going to get out and do this? It's already hard enough under these circumstances. I'm like, the least we can do is just like clear the field for them. Because if you're getting on a subway and there's 5 other people in a subway car, well, you're not going to feel as nervous as if there's 30 other people in a subway car, let alone 150 people in a subway car. So, Yes.
And I would say, we don't know what's going to happen, but it seems likely that we are not going to be the only states with this in place.
Yes.
Feels like it's going to be widespread, and it's going to have to be. But anyway, Gretchen, today I'm wearing, in honor of Friday, I'm wearing my Onward and Upward hoodie.
Oh,
you're wearing your T-shirt.
Yeah, happy minds think alike. Yeah, we gotta go into the weekend strong.
Yeah, it seemed like a cheerful way to end the week. Go into the weekend. And I'm also wearing this in hopes, Adam and Jack and I, well, Jack doesn't know this yet, but Adam and I have decided it's family walk day. So
that's good. Yeah,
we're going to take a long walk this afternoon.
Yeah, so
I will be wearing this sweatshirt.
How many people have been doing that? Like going on a family hike or a family walk to try to kind of fight claustrophobia, be out in nature, because though now or going by themselves, I feel like we're sort of encouraged to be by ourselves.
But you can be with your immediate family members.
You can be with at least.
That's what my understanding is. Yes, and you can be with the people who you're with in your isolation.
Okay, and again, I think in different places this is different. I'm not sure that's true everywhere. So
it may not be.
Different locations, different jurisdictions are having different rules. Those are the rules. So
by the way, someone says they wore their Choose the Bigger Life shirt yesterday.
Oh, wonderful. That's great. Oh, look, we're getting all these people saying, oh, I need an upholder hoodie. Yes, you do. Everybody's saying yes, thumbs up, that it's really several walks a day. We live in the country. Bike rides. A lot of people going for bike. Elizabeth, you and I are not ones for bikes, but I think a lot of people are really enjoying bike rides. I'm walking 3 hours daily. Somebody says that's great. Sometimes alone, sometimes with kids. Lots of dog walks. Yes, thumbs up if your dog is enjoying Walk 20 for 20 and 20. A lot of people are saying that it's really good for their dogs.
Yes.
Yeah. And
people are asking, can you still walk outside on lockdown? As of now, yes, because they're encouraging people to get fresh air and exercise, but you're supposed to either go by yourself or with, the people you're with in your house. And also, if you happen to see people, stay away.
Yeah, stay away. And yes, and you definitely see that people are doing that much more, that they're spread out. Now, how many people did yesterday's challenge of downloading an app? I did another app, which was the obvious one, which was Zoom. I was like, okay, I got to get on this right now. I had it on my desktop. I didn't have it on my phone. That
was Wednesday.
Oh, no, that was Wednesday.
Okay. Yesterday's was unsubscribe.
Yes, unsubscribe. Who unsubscribed? I got on some weird super local list, so I'm getting like, this is a bathroom fixture manufacturer in Minneapolis. I'm like, how did I get on that list? But And it takes a little bit of effort to unsubscribe, but feels good to do it. How many people thumbs up if you did it?
Somebody spent 40 minutes doing it. That's great.
Gold star, because it will save you so much time, and that feeling of like, every time I look at my emails, there's a million. Oh yeah, forgot about to do that. Do it again today. Good. That's great. Another thing to do today. And the challenge, and we hope that you're finding these challenges kind of fun and easy enough to be kind of manageable. This one is it's really something that you have to do anyway. We all must do, but we should do it right away. Don't delay. And that is answer the census. We got our census. I don't know if different states get it at different times.
I checked my mailbox. I hadn't gotten it yet, but we might get it today.
Yeah. Well, as we can imagine, the census is being affected by this, just like everything else. And the census is so important. I'm sure everybody's seen the messages, how absolutely vital the census is to so many aspects of government that you would never even think would be dependent on census information. And I think for all of us, because there is going to be so much pressure on these systems, the one thing we can do is just like cross it off the list of like whoever the census worker is, and they're like, okay, that household has reported. In fact, my daughter's college emailed us to say, your children are being counted as students here. Don't include them in your household. And I was like, oh, important safety tip. I would have counted her here. But so maybe you're not able to do this yet. So you have to kind of put a pin in it and just vow that when you get your letter.
People are also saying, Gretchen, you can do it online.
Can you? I know you can do it online once you have it. It says, yeah. But can you do it? Can you do it proactively? Can you go on and do it? Can you just go ahead and do it when you want? Because if
I'm not sure, but a lot of people are just saying they already did it online.
They did it online. Yeah. Mailbag back already. Well done.
And you know, one thing, they are in all of this not having field workers, so you have to do it this way. Usually there's people that go around to your door and also take the census.
Oh, that's bad.
And they're not doing that now. So
okay,
more important that we fill out these forms.
Right. Wow. Interesting. Yeah. So I guess the thing is just pay attention and then try to answer promptly, to lighten the load on all the people that are, because this is really super vital work for the working of the government for the next decade. And so we can, I think something that a lot of people are feeling is like, how do I help? Like, I want to help. I want to contribute beyond just like staying at home. Is there something that I can do to help when there's so much pressure on the system? This is like a little thing that you can do, but that is actually very significant.
By the way, Gretch, people are saying you do need the code that they mail you. So they mail you a code and then you can do it online. Okay. So by the way, Gretch,
it does census, so yeah.
I wanted just to recommend, because we were talking about how it's good to moisturize our hands a lot. So you don't get cracks, and which it's even easier for the germs to get through. And I have this amazing moisturizer that I love. It's called Ahava.
I love
mineral
Ahava
hand cream, and I just love it. Not an ad. I think
I gave that to you for Christmas.
Yes,
or maybe you asked for it.
Yes, I asked for it because the thing is, I still had some left, but I must have had a premonition, because I was like, let me get more of my favorite hand cream. So I have one in the bathroom and one in my office, and it smells so good. So I really am trying to moisturize numerous times a day.
Yeah. I am trying to use up all the like dribs and drabs of moisturizer that I have in various tubes. And there's this one that's in my bedside table, and it smells like an orange popsicle. And I'm like, oh man, I'll be happy when this is used up, but I don't want to waste it. So
maybe Eleanor would like it.
Maybe. It's hard to imagine. But yeah, I should ask her, because she does like strong fruity smells more than I do. Just put some on. Good. Hey, that's a minor challenge. Okay, the major challenge, answer the census. Minor challenge, moisturize your hands. Okay.
Someone's asking me to spell it, Gretchen. It's AHAVA. And I love the Dead Sea Water Mineral Hand Cream. So.
Yeah. Hold it up in the screen so people can, sometimes it's helpful to see what a package looks like. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Ahava. Yeah. Now let's have the accountability check-in. Okay, how's everybody's accountability doing today? If you are using this for accountability, put in the comments. Are you doing it? Elizabeth, how's your accountability? Your 2 pages.
How is it going? Well, on the writing front, I'm having a hard time
Concentrating.
Even with this. You know what? Since it's Friday, Gretchen, let me set kind of a goal for Monday when we meet. Okay, and I'm gonna keep it small. I'm gonna say I want to have finished 5 pages. More pages. Okay. So that's like a real amount. Even though, again, I should be able to write a lot more than that. I just want to, 5 pages though is a chunk of material, right?
Right.
So I'm going to set that for Monday.
Well, so here, this raises an interesting question is, are you going to treat the weekends differently from the weekdays? Because like Jack's not going to be having his online learning. I know Adam's working from home too. So presumably and he's much more like in an office kind of,
Yes.
like, are you going to treat it differently? Is it going to feel different on Saturday and Sunday, or are all days kind of blending together, do you think?
I am going to treat it differently. Like one thing, Gretchen, I do, it's just so small, but I've talked about this on the podcast, is I have my weekend mug. In fact, I wish I had it. I'll show it to you next week. Like that I only use on the weekends. So like I have not let myself use my weekend mugs during the week. So I'll be doing that. I am still going to try to write just because I think I'll have the time. And I actually think it'll be easier because it'll feel less newsy somehow. Like, I don't know, it'll just feel quieter.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Jack won't be doing school. I'll be a lot more lenient, with all of his iPad and everything. I'm hoping he can have several like FaceTime play dates over the weekend. And to set off the weekend, I'm trying to arrange with another couple like a virtual dinner with Adam and me.
So what's your plan for how that'll work?
I think it'd be very simple. I think we would just say, okay, FaceTime at 7:30 on Saturday. We'd get dinner, they'd get dinner, and the 4 of us would just talk. A lot of people are doing that.
That's a great idea. Because it is true that you speak differently with your sweetheart when there are other people around.
Oh yeah.
And it is. And I think one of the things too is like some people naturally tend to like call and text and FaceTime and all this. And then other people maybe need to be nudged toward it. And so.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like I'm much more into texting and FaceTiming than Adam is. And I don't want him to become like totally socially isolated. Oh, someone says they have a Skype game night with a friend. One thing I have noticed is, the more people that you have in these things, the harder it is to talk. It gets quite chaotic.
Right.
So that's why I was just going to try to do this with 2 other people. So then it would just be 4 of us and we could talk.
Okay. Not to get too logistical, but are you planning that it'd be like you and Adam sitting close together in one frame and they're together in the other frame, or it'd be 4?
No, I think the 2 of us in one frame and them and yeah.
Okay.
So we would sit together and they would sit together.
So it's like you're in one side of the booth and they're on the other side of the booth.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, we're going full virtual reality, right?
I know, right? So that's how I'm kind of planning to deal with the weekend. What about you?
I agree. Doing FaceTime happy hour with friends tonight. Oh, that's fun. I haven't thought about it enough. I was thinking, and I saw in comments, a lot of people, I think, have this sort of the same instinct that we do want to preserve kind of the variety in our time and not have just like kind of this endless day that never feels like it advances. And it's good to have. I was actually thinking maybe we should have like these chores on, kind of go back to Laura Ingalls Wilder, we do these chores on Monday and, to try to give every day sort of a special flavor. I haven't, but then others sometimes resist my desire to like lock everything down like that. But I do feel like it'd be good to have Saturday and Sunday. Like my kids are still on spring break. And
right.
So I've just sort of let that go. But on Monday, Eliza's everything ramps up. And she actually had like a meeting with a professor today. So I think Monday it will start feeling more like this is the week, and like there's things that have to happen during the week, and then we can let the weekend really be different. And I think by then also the situations kind of will have hardened a little bit, because now it's been all this like kind of preparation. It felt like everything was coming, and now it feels like it's kind of getting, you know, it's like a Churchillian. It wasn't the beginning of the beginning, but now I feel like we're at the beginning of the beginning.
Yeah. By the way, people are saying, Gretchen, someone's going to dress up and use nice china.
That's so nice.
Have a date night.
Bring it. Yeah.
Someone else is making a special brunch. A lot of people are doing Zoom happy hours. I think that's super popular.
Well, it's maybe easier than eating in front of somebody on a video. I could see how just like having a beverage is sort of like, I don't know, maybe feels.
Yeah, could be. So yeah, there's a lot. And someone else said they're not going to do any chores over the weekend. So that's how they're distinguishing. You know what I was thinking this morning is, now again, some people are really in terror and awful, awful things are happening, or they have no money, or I mean, no groceries and etc. But like for the state we're currently in, you know, there's something similar to like having a new baby to this time. 'Cause it's like, only you can sleep more, but it's like days lose meaning.
Yes.
You're like, there seems like a lot to do, but nothing to do.
Yes.
You're just kind of, it feels like it'll never end. You know what I mean? So I was just thinking, I mean, it'd be, you know, I was just feeling like that.
Yes. And kind of along those lines, like what is the temperature of what's happening right now? Here's an absolutely fascinating observation by a friend of mine who's a psychiatrist. So I was like doing my thing where I'm like emailing friends every day and checking in. I'm like, how are you doing? And she just said to me, oh, my highly anxious patients are doing surprisingly well because they're anxious all the time. So they feel sort of prepared for this. And now everybody feels the same way they do. And so they feel kind of more at ease. And I thought, well, that is fascinating.
That's really interesting. I do know a lot of people who are calling their doctor for anti-anxiety medication, which makes perfect sense because this is a very anxiety-producing time, and you might need like help with your anxiety.
Yes, and it's interesting that if you're already at that place, somehow this doesn't take it to a new place. Yeah. It's kind of like now it's sort of directed differently or something. I don't know. And maybe that's just happens to be, that's just anecdoted. That's just one person in her particular. But I just thought that was sort of an interesting, interesting observation. It is interesting. I think one thing that is going to be interesting is time and how we did. And this was when I was writing my book about the body and the senses. One of the things I was going to look at was time. And I do feel like it's important to maintain a sense of time. And I think also the feeling of moving forward in time, because we want to feel like this will come to an end and be reminded like we're going through something and and I think something like observing the week and the weekend is probably, and it's also a change because part of it is like, we're all going to have so much less novelty in our lives and humans thrive on novelty. And so it's like, you want to give yourself like, today I get to do this and today I have to do that. And then this is different from this day. I think especially for children to create kind of, what was it? Somebody told me something funny that she did for her kids. Now I can't remember what it was. That's annoying. Sorry. That was random.
Well, are you thinking of that? Someone said their brother who has a lot of anxiety says he's been preparing for this his whole life.
See? Isn't that interesting?
And Gretchen, a lot of people are wanting us to talk about anxiety and how to manage it. So I just want to mention again that we have that special episode we did. I think it was episode 240.
Yes.
About kind of managing. That was really about managing everyday anxiety. But I think there's a lot of tools there that would be helpful for people.
And in episode 56, we talked about a specific tool that I think would be very helpful right now, which is scheduling time to worry.
Yes.
This is when, instead of allowing worry like to kind of penetrate your whole day when you're worrying kind of throughout, you say to yourself, I'm going to schedule time to worry. Don't do it before bedtime. But, you know, I'm going to worry then, and I'm going to kind of concentrate all my worry at that one time. And what it does is it relieves your mind because you're like, okay, I'm not going to think about that now. I'm going to worry about that at 2 or whatever it is. And I think a lot of people are doing this sort of in a related way by managing their news intake and by saying, I'm going to look at the news, at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. And then between that, I'm going to stay away from it because it can engulf me. And scheduling time to worry is sort of the same thing. It's kind of, you give it a slot. You're not ignoring it. You're not minimizing events, but you're just putting aside time for that and not letting that kind of spread throughout the whole day in a way that it just ends up being distracting and draining.
Well, Gretchen, related to that, Sarah and I recorded a bonus episode for Happier in Hollywood, which I think will be up tonight. And we talked with Audrey Monkey, who's a parenting expert. And she said one thing she's done is assign her husband the worry. So she's letting her husband worry, and she's staying focused on, fun activities and getting, everyone together for a virtual dinner party and staying positive. So it's like her husband, it sounds like this is sort of just their natures, but anyway. So her husband is worrying.
Absolutely fascinating. Okay, put a thumbs up if that would work. That would not work in our relationship. Partly, I don't think I could delegate it like that. And partly, I don't think Jamie would want to feel like it was all his responsibility. That feels like, but I can imagine that in some couples that would actually be a relief. Right. Where somebody's like, I'm not good at this part of it. Or somebody's like, I can't let go of this part of it. I would love to know, do people think that could work? Thumbs up if you could imagine yourself. Not necessarily that you have done that, but you could imagine it. I can't imagine doing that. Could you imagine? That's fascinating.
Well, Gretchen, I'm a worrier. So
you are a worrier.
There's no way that I'm going to assign the worry away. But
But you're also the person that wants to come up with the idea of the Facebook dinner party and like, let's get the group text going. And you are also looking, let's go on a family hike. Like you're also looking for the ups. So you're kind of combining both of those. I feel like I'm the same way. We combine both of those. We wouldn't really be comfortable delegating.
Oddly, I feel like I'm not worrying that much. And maybe this is the same as the anxiety. It's like, I feel like, it's just too big to even worry about in a sense. I'm acting. You know what I'm acting the way that everyone is supposed to act in order to stay, hopefully, myself and others safe. But like, I really can't worry about when Hollywood is going to open again.
Yes, right.
It's just too big.
Right. It's too big. That's an interesting point. But then I think sometimes people also become frustrated, and you comment if you have had this experience, where one person is worried and the other person is not worried. And they're kind of like, let me lighten you up because this doesn't, like, I'm not worried. But then you're like, well, now I have to worry for the both of us. Or like, now I have to spend my time trying to bring you to my level of worry. And sometimes that can also make a situation seem more difficult if people aren't on the same page or they have kind of different philosophies. Oh, this is coming up. Okay, yeah, with the Four Tendencies. And we will remind you of this, but over the weekend, the challenge for the weekend is to take the Four Tendencies quiz if you haven't done it before, which is at quiz.gretchenrubin.com. And it's a quick quiz. It's like 11 questions. You'll get a report at the end to tell you if you're an upholder, a questioner, obliger, or rebel. More than 2.5 million people have taken this quiz. And we're going to talk about the Four Tendencies and how the Four Tendencies are coming up during this time and kind of during a lot of the messages and kind of orders around COVID-19. And I think one of the things is that sometimes your tendency will influence whether you will or will not take into account certain messages that are being given. And we'll get into that. But it'll be more interesting if everybody knows their tendency.
Yes.
Or maybe the tendency of people in your household. That could be a fun, like, oh, weekend at home.
A fun activity for the weekend.
Yes, we can all buy our mug and like clink glasses at, week from now. Yeah. Because I think it is true. I think sometimes people really get their back up or whatever. And one of the ways is like, and if one person seems like they're not, if people don't see eye to eye, it can be hard.
By the way, Gretchen, someone mentioned the New York Times, I missed this, had an article on marriage and the coronavirus.
You know, I just saw that in my feed. I made a note that I wanted to read that. Okay, that's good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be a chat. I'm sure as far as marriages go, it's going to be a challenge for marriages. It'll strengthen marriages. It'll weaken marriages. I mean,
Yes.
It's going to be an anthropological,
Well, I'm beginning to think
bonanza.
I'm thinking that this experience is an amplifier and an accelerant. Like things that exist more, and things that were already happening are happening faster.
Oh my God. Just like the Real Housewives. If you're a Real Housewife and you're headed for divorce, you get there faster, usually, because it's like it amplifies and accelerates.
Interesting.
I can bring anything back to the Real Housewives, Gretch.
Yes. Well, I'm going to write an aphorism about that. And then I'm just waiting for the day. Elizabeth, I think you need to grapple with the Real Housewives in some kind of creative way. Like you have to start a podcast or do an audiobook or like have a live show or like lead tours or, I don't know, do a YouTube video. Maybe I'll do an Instagram. Maybe you should do an Instagram live dedicated to the Real Housewives.
Well, maybe I should.
For fun, everybody just, who would watch it? Like I would not. I love to hear you talk about anything, and so I would listen just for that. But how many people would like to have? Let's just talk about the Real Housewives for 40 minutes with Elizabeth on Instagram. Like
40 minutes might be a lot. Maybe 5.
You could go 40 minutes for sure, because there's all the different geographies, and they have their lines of products. They have their I mean, the celebrity sightings that you've had. How many of them have you seen in person now?
Let's see. I've seen Lisa Rinna 1 million times. I've seen Kyle Richards. I've seen Lisa Vanderpump. I think that's it.
Yeah. Well, and this is what we're talking about is another very important tool in the toolkit about dealing with anxiety and stress, which is distraction. And sometimes it feels like the way to worry or the way to address something properly or the way to acknowledge or the way to approach it with the appropriate gravity of attitude is to really stay focused on it. Stay deep in it. Don't take your eyes off the problem. Somehow that's going to make you safer. If you think about every bad thing that could happen, or you like never take your hands off the wheel, but often that can become very, very draining. And you're working yourself up and you're keeping yourself at this fever pitch. And often there's nothing to be done. It's like, it's not helping you. It's not driving you to productive behavior. You're just spinning your wheels and exhausting yourself, which over the long run, it's going to make it harder for you to deal in a productive and calm way with whatever the fates will hold. And so having moments of distraction, allowing yourself to do something frivolous or just be amused by something silly, like maybe you're going to rewatch The Office, like this kind of distraction really does help us kind of keep it together, especially for something like this that's a long game. This is going to be going on a long time. We need to keep our energy and our spirits high so that we can, do it for the
maintain sanity and some semblance of normalcy.
Yes. Oh, these real live chats really help. That's so nice because that's what we thought. We were like, it just feels like it'd be nice to have a place to go and just like hear a conversation. Oh yeah, thank you. That's so nice.
Yes.
That's so nice. So accountability people, I don't want to let you go before everybody's checked in. What have you done? Walk 20 and 20. Have people been doing their walk 20s and 20?
Thank God for walk 20 and 20, Gretch, because that is keeping me like walking at least 20 minutes a day.
Yes. Right.
Like if I didn't have that, I could so easily just, let all exercise slide. But having that is keeping me focused. And as I said, I think yesterday, if I do 20, I'll often do more.
Yes.
But like doing the first 20 is the hardest. So I'm so glad.
When we were young, I was such a couch potato. Our father was trying to get me to exercise. And he told me, as long as you put on your running shoes and the door shuts behind you, it counts as a run. And I thought that's such good advice because it's starting. That's so hard. And once you get started, it's so much easier to continue. And so, yeah, just getting started on the 20 minutes. Minute 21 is a lot easier than minute 1.
Yes.
And remember, if you want the sheet for Don't Break the Chain, it's at gretchenrubin.com/resources. And that's just a place where you can cross up the dates. And remember, you're never behind. It's always the right time to start. So even if you haven't done walk 20 and 20 so far, you can start tomorrow. And that is
yes.
Awesome.
And Gretch, a lot of people are asking if we're doing this on the weekend. So we're just, as of now, we're doing Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. If people feel like they're looking to connect over the weekend, you can always join. Sarah and I have a Happier in Hollywood Facebook group. You just search Facebook for Happier in Hollywood and ask to join. You do not have to listen to the podcast to enjoy the Facebook group. And it's really a practical, positive place to connect. Yeah. A lot of advice, a lot of sharing, funny things, practical things. So if you want to connect over the weekend, Sarah and I are both trying to check in all the time, and it's a very interactive place. So we invite you to join us there.
Well, the nice thing about that is, like, if it's the middle of the night or whatever, like there's activity there. And so if you feel like you're kind of feeling lonely and isolated or scared or something, you can go there and check in and feel like you're part of something. It's funny, many people are commenting on our phones ringing. Usually our phones don't ring ever, but because Jamie's working from home, he's got people calling his cell phone. He's got people calling our landline. Like, it's just, there's phones happening, which I'm not used to the phone ringing.
Yeah. And our phone rings. We never answer it, but it rings.
I know, it's always,
and it's across the room, so I can't turn it off.
Well, you and I both said, like, if we turn it off, we can't turn it back on, so we just have to let it ring. So that's going to be, Chuck is not going to appreciate that for our now that we're recording our podcast at home. It's going to be a nuisance for Chuck, because we're going to have to stop and start every time.
One last thing, Gretch, before we go, I promised that I would show the fancy shoes.
We want to see the shoes.
So for anyone who missed it yesterday, I was saying that I was going to have a Zoom hangout with some people, and the theme was to wear your fancy shoes. And I was saying I had these very high heels that I never wear out because I feel that I could die, basically. But it was that I felt I could wear them in my own home. So these are the fancy shoes. And look how hot, you can see they're really high.
How did you even stand up in
I got them
store?
For a wedding. And they're really pretty. And I convinced myself, because it had this platform, that, they're not that hard to walk in because they have a platform. Let me tell you, they're very hard to walk in. So here they are. That's so I wore them last night everyone held up their shoe.
We should institute this for the rest of time. You come wearing like your ballet flats and you just show I'm at a cocktail party. Let me show you my shoes. And then just stipulate that I wore them, but I'll just oh, what a brilliant idea.
Do you know what's funny, Gretchen? Was even just sitting in front like this in these shoes last night for an hour and a half, my feet were still hurting at the end of it. So
the power of suggestion.
So anyway, those are the fancy shoes.
Yes. Okay. So it's Friday, so we will be back Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern. No, important. We can't do it at 4 because, believe it or not, I have a conflict at 4. So it's going to be a different time. So follow me on Instagram, and I will announce the time, because Elizabeth, even with all this time in my hand, I wasn't organized enough to clear it with you in advance. So I will announce it on Instagram what the actual time will be, but it'll be more. It will be like close to 4. It'll be around. Yeah. It'll still be in the afternoon. It'll be in that general slot. So that's what's happening on Monday, and
we're going to talk about the tendencies.
We're going to talk about
take your 4 tendencies quiz if you haven't already. Where can people take it?
quiz.gretchenrubin.com. And I have slashed the price of my 4 Tendencies course. So if you're intrigued with the 4 Tendencies, if you have been wanting to learn more about it, I often hear from people who are like teachers or healthcare people, or have like a family situation where they feel like they really want to get a better grip on the tendencies for themselves and then also for other people. And if you're in a household and you're like, what's going on with all these people that I'm suddenly with 24 hours, and you want to understand the tendencies. So it's the Four Tendencies course. So I can never remember the URL for that. So if you just go on to GretchenRubin.com and look for Four Tendencies online course. It's GretchenRubin.com/4TC. GretchenRubin.com/4T for tendencies, C for course. 4TC. 4 letter 4. Number 4.
And then people can sign up for your newsletter.
I think, at GretchenRubin.com/newsletter. That comes out every Friday, and that's just like got a bunch of resources and links and fun stuff. So over the weekend, keep it up. We're not there to give you accountability, but we will be asking for accountability on Monday. You can run, but you can't hide. And look for the census. I'm really curious to know if they do this, if they send them out like in waves of states, or is it like by districts or something like that. I'm fascinated by the census. I always have been. That's the part of me that went to law school, I guess.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Have a great weekend. Stay in touch with your friends.
Yes.
And keep your hands clean and your minds clear. Bye.
Bye.